And I believe we're live. Hello, lovely people. This is an issue for me. My voice is shot today, but here we are. We're alive. We've got a face now, so you'll see it in the corner of your screen. And now we've got a face, so now you can see the game and also see the face. So we're making progress, baby. So here we are, another grandiose day here in the Brotherland Server, and we've got some stuff that we wanna do. So, hello, welcome. Let's get into it, shall we? This is so exciting for me. I'm so happy I finally figured out how to do this, and well, not figured out, just more did the thing. And I'm operating now off of 2 monitors. I gotta not bounce my leg, because now I've got the game over here and the chat over here. So now I can chat with you in real time and not have to, look at my phone. So here we are. This is exciting. Happy Mother's Day to any mothers that are watching the stream. I don't know why you would be watching my stream, but if you are, happy Mother's Day. Let's get some of that going. Also, for everyone that has graduated, happy graduation. You did it. You finished whatever you finished, high school, college number 2, college number 3. So, if that happened to you, congratulations. And, go hit the world by the oyster. I think I'm supposed to save that, because I think there's more. Whatever. What else? There was something else that happened recently. I can't remember what it is. Graduation. Oh, school. Just school being done, Oh, ew. That's funny. No, I don't want to type ew. Let's close this menu, thank you. What else? School being done. For some I think are going right into finals. If so, study those finals. Get everything done and everything that you need. Bone meal and snowballs. Okay, we'll put snowballs away. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that? Well, I can't even go very high. Sorry, I'm having too much fun with this. When you live stream, you got to take care of your voice, and if your voice is not good, this might be short. It might be short-lived. Who knows? Who's to say? Oh goodness gracious, who's to say? We're here, and things have finally calmed down. Man, oh man, there's been so much. It's just been so busy, with school and finals and everything else. It gets crazy busy. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to be back. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's go work on the sky. Work on the sky things and make it happen, because that's gonna be fun. What else? Happy Mother's Day. I said that, but I also decided to do some research and I watched some videos. Also, we got water. Drink your water. That's great. I'm hoping that helps with the voice. I've been drinking tea all morning. Tea and coffee. Coffee's not good for your voice though, so maybe that was counterproductive. I had 3 cups of coffee today, and then 2 cups of tea already. So yeah, I probably shouldn't drink that coffee, but in the morning, that's how you get up. That's how you get up and moving out of bed. Or at least that's how I get up and moving. What else? Mother's Day. Yeah, I listened to some nice YouTube videos that were really good and really informational. About kind of where Mother's Day came from and everything, kind of how it formed in America. And then I was like, I should go on a rabbit trail. And so I looked up some videos on matriarchal societies. That's really interesting. There's I think there's only 2. It's I can't remember the 2 names. I can't remember the specific names. There's one in Estonia. There's an island off the coast of Estonia that kind of still does function off a matriarchal system and society. And then one in China, where that's another matriarchal society that is, that women have the power and men are like more of the money makers. They go and they work and they come back, and then the women are the ones who, you know, call the shots. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, that sounds cool. Okay, so let's actually, you know what we'll do first is we'll pop this guy down. Yeah, and then we'll use that to get stuff out of there. Okay, these guys. Pop, plop. Okay, and then let's just fill up the inventory, shall we? I still do also need to pick this one up, though, because this is going to be important. There we go. Okay, that. And now that one's empty, and this one is the one we will be using. Although I don't like to have just an empty shulker box lying around, so I may take it with me, but I know that I will not use all of these. As always, we start as a line on the thing, so let's click that and get going, shall we? Because this is going to be so much easier for me to think and do this. So, Mother's Day. Interesting, there's a lot of different historical starts to this thing of how it could have started. I think it goes back to ancient Greece originally. And there was I can't remember, it's the goddess of the entire earth is what was the celebration originally. And it didn't really take off. It wasn't something that lasted, and it's not something that's called back to, but it is, at least that's the one of the origin points. And then there was another one, it was called Mothering Day, and it was in Britain or England, or the UK, and this was before, like, it was during the times of the kings. I'm so terrible with history. I love history, and if I need to, I will memorize it, and I will, you know, give specifics. But this is a friendly conversation. We chat, we do these things, and we're going good. But it was it was called the Mothering Day, and it would be a Sunday in May where soldiers could return home to say hello to their mothers, and so that was, you know, ideally known as Mothering Day. There was another moment, though, and this is kind of where we kind of get this American tradition of Mother's Day, is really fascinating. It started with this woman who decided to, it was right after the Civil War was happening, and they were kind of trying to rebuild the societies and I'm out of stuff, so let's refill real quick as Michael gets his head in order. They were trying to rebuild the Civil War, and so they were working on building these communities back up. And there's this specific mother. I'm gonna look up her name. You know, I feel like this isn't the best. I want, and now that I have a computer and I can just do the Mother's Day origins. There we go. We're just gonna read it. It's gonna be great. But now you have a face, so when you don't see something on the screen, you can see the face, and the face will be talking to you. And you can look at the face as we do this. Mother's Day. Anna Jarvis. That's what it was. I was like, there has to be a name that I'm not remembering. Okay, Anna Jarvis. Anna Jarvis, Senior, because there's also an Anna Jarvis Junior, I guess. Her daughter was also named Anna Jarvis, which is confusing, but I get it. I also don't know why people do that. I don't know why people name their kids their own name. Kind of feels a little like I get it. I get why people do that, but for me it's I'm not 100% on board with that, you know? Because unless it's like a legacy kind of thing, but then somebody has to start that, and somebody has to say like, no, I'm gonna name my son or daughter my thing. It's gonna be my name again. Like, I'm not gonna name my kid my name and then put this, like, but I love when it's like the third. You know, like, did I know a third? I don't think I've ever known, like, somebody the third. But that's a amazing title. That's so cool. It's like, I am Robert Bradley the third. It just sounds so cool. I'm Robert the third. I don't know. It sounds cool, but then when you're like, I'm Robert Jr., and that's Robert Sr., I don't know. I guess I can see why people would do that. But anyways, that's besides the point. Anna Jarvis, Mother's Day, right? So Anna Jarvis was was a mother during the Civil War, and after the Civil War is over, she was like known as, as Mother Jarvis or Mother Anna, because she was, a Christian lady. She was trying to rebuild her society, rebuild the people around her, not rebuild the people, rebuild the community around her, and it was fairly successful. Like she did a lot for her community, and she helped rebuild it. And she organized these Sundays where mothers could. It was the Mother's Day, and the idea is that the mothers would come out in the town, the village, whatever you want to call it, and they would help. They would do community work, and then there was a recognition for it in May, where they said, okay, we should give thanks to all this work that all these mothers have done in this town. So with that, it became a symbol of honor. It was like, thank you, you've done so much for this community. We want to show that respect. And then her daughter, Anna Jarvis Jr., wanted to continue the tradition and spread it from not only the mothers specifically to that area that had helped rebuild the community and were being recognized, but more so spread it to be mothers in general and women in general too. It's fascinating that Mother's Day is also really closely I think that's the word. Yeah, that's the only word I'm thinking of. I don't know why I'm thinking of it. Closely connected to women's rights, and like moving forward with that and acknowledging this and kind of, giving the spotlight. I can't remember if there was a quote from the thing I was listening to of there are plenty of days devoted to men and holidays not run by men, but, glorifying or praising men. And that, Mother's Day, they wanted Mother's Day to be a opportunity for recognition of women. So that, they started doing that as well. And I was like, oh, okay, that's super interesting. That's one of the things. And it was supposed to be, and America took it and they did more things with it. So soldiers would come home for Mother's Day. It would be a time to go visit your mother, and this is I love this detail of the story. They used to write letters, so they would write letters to their mother, and they would thank her, and the whole point was to connect and give credit to your mother. And eventually it caught on, and people really liked this idea, and they kept going with it, and it kept getting more and more popular. And as it went, this is another connection. A lot of Mother's Day flowers are carnations, right? I think you give pink or red carnations to a mother who's still alive, and then you buy white carnations for a mother who's dead. And that was a tradition started because Anna Jarvis's mother loved carnations. It was her favorite flower. That's the only reason. That's the only reason that syncs up and links up is because I like that, syncs up and links up. Is because that was her mom's favorite flower. So that's what she did. So that was interesting, right? So the carnation is now associated with Mother's Day because of the favorite flower. She, would buy those and put them on her grave, or they would give them to the other mothers around. And what happened is that it rose in popularity so much so that a lot. Oh, okay, we're gonna go to bed. We're gonna pass out. I'm gonna pass out up here because the bed is too far away. There we go. Passing out. Let's see what's going on. Got it. Okay, let's put that back in here. I get so lost up here in the clouds. Like, if you didn't know, like and it rained. It's raining. That means it's gonna be added snow, and I don't want snow on my paths. I like it to be clean. That's okay. Mothers. Right. So it gained popularity. It was doing that, and then because it gained so much popularity, flower sales started booming, just going through the roof of like, oh, we should, so there's a lot of florists now that getting a lot of business for Mother's Day. I think Mother's Day is technically one of the biggest days for sales in terms of like for florists, that this is one of their highest volume days. And it makes sense. I mean, typically, you give your mom some flowers, and you give her breakfast in bed, and you give her a little coupon that says free hugs and kisses, or a little coupon book of like, I'll do one chore. Or I know we had a fun tradition of that on Mother's Day, Mom didn't have to do any work. So it was always like, okay, we're gonna clean the house. We're gonna go and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do all these things because it's your day, so you don't have to do anything. We'll cook for you. We'll do whatever you want. It's a good time. Mother's Day is a very wholesome, very good holiday. It's a good one, right? So because it started gaining popularity with florists, they're getting a lot of business. And now people aren't wanting to write letters as much because it's a lot of work to send a letter, and you gotta send it ahead of time and make sure it gets there. And people didn't want to do that. So the greeting card companies, I should say, start getting in on this. They're like, oh, hey, everyone likes their mother and everyone wants to, send a letter, but that's a hassle. Why don't we just make you a card to do this? And it gains popularity, and they start marketing, and people can now buy cards and send it to their mothers. Well, Anna Jarvis, the originator of this holiday, did not like that at all. Did not like what this had become. And fascinatingly enough, right, Anna Jarvis really petitioned. What? Come on now. Don't do this to me. Don't you dare move my stream. I'm trying to do this. I don't understand. Come on now. Don't you do this to me. Okay, fine. It's okay. We'll handle it. And we're going to keep talking, because that's what I found out last time. I was like, I should have kept talking through the problems, because otherwise it's just silence. And silence is not fun. Silence isn't bad, it's just not fun. Anna Jarvis did not like that it, became this big deal, right? But she also fought tooth and nail to make this a reality, to make it happen. Like, she petitioned and wrote letters upon letters to make this a nationally recognized holiday, because she wanted to bring attention to the women of America, and she wanted to say, hey, this is important, this is good, we need to make this a national holiday. And she got her way. Eventually she threw enough. It reminded me of like Shawshank Redemption, with him writing and petitioning to get a library and getting books, and he wrote a letter every single day for I think a year, if not northwards of a year. And that's basically the same story here, is that there was this petition going of this person writing letters to get this holiday to be nationally recognized, so that women could move forward with rights in the States and be recognized as equals, if at least get some recognition and work on getting them more equal across the board. So she fought tooth and nail to make this holiday a thing. She worked hard, and she got it. And then, because it became a thing, as most things in America that that exist, it turned capitalistic. It became a way on how to make money. So the greeting card industry decided to join the game and start making cards that they could sell, that are cheap, easy. They don't have much, they don't have much value to them. It's just something to buy, and you don't even have to think about it. Send it, boom, done. And she starts realizing this, and so she gets upset, and she starts fighting back against it. So she goes on these campaigns to end this monetization of this holiday, and say, no, this is supposed to be edifying. It's supposed to be like a good thing. Like it's supposed to bring honor to mothers. It's not supposed to be a way for men in the higher ups to get money. And she got so rowdy at certain points that she was not arrested, but forcibly removed from a place because she was not rioting, but she was being a public disturbance. Yeah, she was. I think she was detained for being a public disturbance because of how much stink she was throwing up on Mother's Day not being what it's supposed to, not being what she had originally intended. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a badass story for Mother's Day, is that the original founder disagreed so much with what it's become now that they went out and they fought against it, and they were like, no, this is not what I had. I know this is what I asked for, but I want it to be actually good. I want it to be better. And that's the story. Look at that. We finished the story with one line. Now I got to do another story for the next line. We have to go back to the portal though and get all the stuff. I was looking on the feed earlier. It looks like this eye is smaller than this eye, and I don't know what that's about. But we're making do. There's so much we still need to finish. There's so much in this world, and we might shift it. Also, I'm trying to think of fun things to throw on stream for Twitch, and the background. I'm working on it. This is the first one, so we're growing. So this is where we start, and then we're gonna get somewhere else eventually. I've got RGB lights. Just need to hook them up and get them all done. But I just have been busy, and so now it's a little freer. That's what I say every single time. If you knew me in real life, you would understand. I'm always constantly doing something. And sometimes it's nice to just take time to chillax, to drink water, and to talk about random subjects that I find interesting. Alright, okay, cool. Let's keep it going. And click. And now we wait. And we're gonna do a little texting. Text. Alright. Elevator called. Time to go. The other thing is I wanted to talk about graduation too, because oh, hello. I wish I could stop this rain. I don't like this rain. It's no good. Okay, let's go. Let's refill it and do another line. I'm also thinking about starting a TikTok, but I don't know what to make TikToks about, and that's holding me back. I'm not sure what I should do, but I'm gonna do something. I don't know. Eventually. It's so hard. It's so hard. No, it's great. It's fun. I'm also trying to figure out what I want to, because I think but that is a decision that I'm going to make in the future. Graduation's also here, and I will tell you, the feeling of being completely done is fantastic. There's been, it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling, and I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be alive. I'm a little nervous, a little afraid. And that's kind of why I wanted to turn the camera on. I was like, you know what? It's time. I am now done. We're out of that. Done with school. So I think it's time to throw this face on the internet. Because why not, right? Yeah. So that's if you want reasoning and things for why certain things happen, that's why. That's 100% why. Yeah. It's a lot of work. College is a lot of work. Especially it's night. It's getting nighttime. It's getting late. we should put a bed down and pass out. Pass out. There we go. Sleep. And sleep. College is a lot of work, man. It is an intense procedure. I should have. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep the 24 because. Okay, well, whatever. We'll get it. And let's go. Yeah, college is a lot of work. I've been in college for 5 years now, collectively. Yeah, and that is, and then, I mean, too, and here in the States, I mean, I guess other places as well. I don't know schooling systems in other parts of the world. But like you'd spend a quarter of your life, the first quarter of your life basically being in school, and you're in school for like all of high school, and then immediately after high school, usually people go to college and they have all of college, right? It's 4 years sometimes it's more. And too, there's some people in from the place that I just went to, that went immediately after they finished their bachelor's to go get their master's, and so that's 4 on top of, and then getting 3 more on top of that, and especially too, I think with nursing programs and like medical programs, there's a lot of time that's devoted to this, and continuing on for the education, that it's 4 years here, 3 years that, 2 years for a certification. Like there's a lot of time devoted to this, and and people were congratulating me a lot, and saying, hey, you did it, you made it, and I don't know, I guess. And this is more of, it doesn't feel real right now with the pandemic and everything. It just kind of happened, kind of, question mark. Like, it wasn't anything grandiose. It didn't feel like, wow, I did it. Also, I'm not a traditional student. I did my associates and then went to get a bachelor's and finished it in 2 years. So for me, it doesn't, I don't know. I guess if it would be different if I went to a university for 4 years and then just did the 4-year gig. But that didn't happen, so I'm not 100% sure. There's not I think high school graduation was that way a lot. Like, high school graduation was like, boom, done. I did the thing, hooray. I have all these friends, I have all these memories, all this stuff. But with finishing like an associate's degree, because community college is kind of like, it's like an ebb and flow, because you'll have people who are, just taking this one class with you. You have people who are kind of going for like a liberal arts degree there. So it's kind of like a true melting pot where you kind of blend all of these people together, right? But then in a 4-year university, it's kind of like a second high school. It's, it's like, yeah, it's like a second high school. And then you get 4 years, you have the same memories, you have all these things that you're doing, and it's pretty good. You build lasting memories, you build lasting friendships, you have like a bunch of different experiences together, and then when you graduate, that's kind of like the end of that. You're like, oh, okay, cool, that's another thing that was done. But I think because I transferred, that's not 100% my experience of coming in and being able to say, oh, okay, well, I was more goal oriented, I think, than experience driven. And that's interesting. That for me, I was like, strange. I don't have that, like, wow, cool. I definitely have the I'm done and that's it for education, but I think for me it was a little bit just, I don't know, I expected a stronger emotional catharsis, and maybe it will come in the future. Who knows? But that's where we're at. So yeah, it's still, it's just crazy to wrap your head around and do that. Okay, right. With Mother's Day and the things, I started looking up other like matriarchal societies because I was curious, and this is something I would love to explore, is the difference in not necessarily gender roles, but kind of like gender constructs in a societal sense, right? Because there's so many times that we, I know. How do I begin this? How do I even say this? Right. So there's an understanding of the role, especially like with let's bring it to moms as an example. Mother's Day, right? We praise mothers because they're nourishing, right? They raise children, they give them everything they need, and then they kind of teach them through life, take care of them. Not all mothers, but that's typically when you think of a mother, that's the idea. Even in the animal kingdom, the same thing. It's the mother's supposed to take care of the young and lead them to a better new place. And there's a difference. It literally all depends on the society that you're in. So in this more like nuclear dynamic, the idea is that the man goes, wins the bread, the mother takes care of the kids and cooks everything, and like that's a traditional, not even tradition. I mean, that's just what's the word I'm thinking of? Not traditional, but that's tradition. Yeah, this the way. Yeah, tradition. I was like, no, it's you do it because you don't do it. You do it now. You do it and you don't ask questions, which is why, because it's a tradition. Yes, it's a traditional viewpoint. Not to say that it's right. Yeah, just because it's traditional doesn't mean that it's the right way to do it. It's just the way it's been done. And that's kind of the role that mothers have had in the States. Yes. Okay. I'm backing myself into a corner, and I need to just continue on. And that is not the way that role functions everywhere in the world. Right? There are certain moments where the power dynamic is actually given more to women than it would be given to women are more in power than men are. And that's an interesting point, right? There's two societies, and I talked about it in the beginning, but in Estonia, the island off of Estonia, and in China. And both of them function pretty similarly, in where the women of the settlement or the city or this society, the women are the ones who are in power and make the lasting decisions about how everything should function, and the men are more of the workhorses. So they'll work, they'll get there's a difference. I can't remember I think it's Kifnu, the island off of Estonia. But that is more where the men are working and the women make decisions, and the women celebrate what it means to be a strong female in a good position and everything else like that, right? And in the area in China, the women actually go and they get all the support for the family unit. And that's an interesting point. And then I think it was described for the Chinese one where it's something called a walking husband, a walking marriage, is that women can have as many boyfriends as they want until they settle on what happens, which I didn't think is odd. I think that's kind of the point. You should be able to have as many boyfriends as you want until you find the right one. I don't know who's shaming anyone for that, but it's super fun to see how the dating scheme works there about having it be more women led and women initiated more so, and that the men are the people who are, you know, continually working and doing the, I don't know, it's just there's a bit of a, not a, I don't know how to say this, there's a default or like an understanding or just like a tradition, I guess. I don't want to use that word again because it's not so much that, it's something different, but it's this idea that the male presenting individual has to be the one who asks the person on the date. Again, and this is, I'm speaking from a place of ignorance and not full knowledge, so just consider that, right? Why does it still say "ew"? Let's delete that. I don't want it to say "ew." I want it to sleep in the bed and move on. There we go. Water break. I'm collecting my thoughts and trying to say everything. Whoa, there we are. We're almost there. We're almost homebound. Let's remove the bed and keep moving. There we go. Yeah, so there's kind of an understanding that men, quote, we're gonna air quote this, need to ask the person out on the date first. That's the idea, is that they should initiate, and that we're moving away from that now. We are definitely, as a society, there isn't that expectation of like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. Although it's so hardly ingrained in us that it, even saying that it's okay not to, it kind of still is expected usually, of like, oh well, this is, you know, I would want this, and I think it's all a matter of perspective. I think so many times, like, being put in that person's shoes, it's like, yeah, I would love for people to like, you know, initiate that, the courting or the dating or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I know that sometimes it's just better to just do it yourself and ask, and be like, hey, I'm gonna do this, because not as an expectation of otherwise it won't happen, but kind of the otherwise it won't happen. You know, you gotta take initiative for that. Initiative is for that. Sound like a different word in my head. Water break. My voice is really cracking. I should do like a low grumbly voice to preserve my lungs. Not my lungs, my vocal cords. Yeah, so it's interesting. It feels sometimes alien when things aren't exactly the same way that we know them to be. And it's okay. It's not a place where you're like, oh no, like that's wrong. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. And I don't think I hope no one's thinking that. I hope no one's like, oh, this isn't the way it should be. It should be the other way around. You know, men should ask them. And even now that we're moving to a place where identity is also becoming fluid, that it doesn't have to be just solid. I identify, you know, I am a woman, I am a man, like this. These are the only two things out there. Like it's moving forward. It's moving beyond that. But it's also interesting to explore those dynamics and figure out, you know, what about it works and what about it doesn't work. Why is a society built this way, and why does it function this way, and how does it keep going this way? We're waiting for the elevator. That's what we're doing. We're just sitting here waiting for the elevator. It's fascinating to me that, because this is actually something, you know, this is a good question that I got asked about. Okay, elevator's here. I don't know, I just time it to be a little bit over 30 seconds and then it works. This idea that I don't know, not the role and the place of women in our society, but kind of that, Like, just looking at that and exploring that, because it's definitely history as to, why that happens and how that happens. And I need to put this out. There we go. Click. Got those. I'm going to bone meal a little bit because I need to get that done as well. And yeah, there's not a lot of bone meal left. But it's okay. We will make it work for us. Put that in there. Move that over here and take that box with us. Okay, yes. Excellent. Okay, we did all the reds? No, we didn't do all the reds. We just, we stopped at the, or did we stop on the blues? I'm not sure. I know, we finished it last time. Yeah, we finished it last time. Now we just need to do more of this. I feel like we should go to the far end and work our way back. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to work on the far end first, and then come back. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's do this. Oh, right. I was like, why is it not growing blue? Because I have to extend it from what's already there. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I find these types of studies to be really interesting, and it's just nice to look at. It's nice to look at a culture different than your own, and be like, I wonder why they do that, or I wonder if there's a reason beyond just, it's just the way. I wonder too if that's a tradition there, like if that's just the tradition that they live by, and I'm sure it is. Like, I'm not saying that to be like, oh wow, I wonder if that's the way they've always done it, because they probably have. There's a lot of, I think too, with the Chinese society, there is a whole, why do I get tired from doing this? I think it's just because it's not mindless. It's just, repetitive tasks. But it's the same thing. Same thing happened last week. I just got super tired by the end of the live stream, and this has only been going on for 45 minutes, and already I'm like, oh no, I'm getting sleepy again. I don't know what it is. It's not. Yes, I don't know. Not to say that I'm a person who's like, oh yes, I wonder if it's that way because it's always been that way, and I wonder if that's the way it's going to, I don't know. I guess it's not important. If it's a traditional thing, it's a traditional thing, and it's just more of identifying that it's different and being able to acknowledge that it's different and be cool with it being different. And I don't think people aren't. I just think sometimes people can be like, well, yeah, obviously, come on now. Like, are you trying to appropriate or anything? I was like, no, I'm just fascinated in the differences and trying to compare them back. Not to compare them to say that one is better than the other, but to say that, oh, this is different than what I thought originally. And that should be okay. I'm on a soapbox. Let's get off the soapbox. But that's an interesting, that's an interesting, and two, mothers function differently in different, like, houses. Like, there's, not houses. I mean, yeah, households is kind of what I meant to say. Is that there's moments where you can identify that, you can identify who calls the shots. And this is something fascinating to me, because in the Chinese culture, it's about going out and working and getting the degree and doing that, and especially as a woman, like, that's kind of expected. Here in the States, with this more like biblical background, it's definitely more of the, well, we are in a place where mothers are expected to be nurturing and, like, stay at home, like that. I'm thinking like the American the American fantasy, not fantasy, the American dream of like, okay, cool, there's a wife, she's at home, she's taking care of the kids, she's cooking, cleaning, like all of the good things a good wife should do, right? That kind of stuff. Like that's kind of where we're at. Whereas in different parts, it's also put upon the father to do that more so than it would be on the mother. And I think that's a play-by-play / kind of what works in your own house and what should benefit the best. I know that was not an issue that I had growing up, but that's definitely a question of, according to Christian values, a wife is to submit to her husband, right? And like take the calls and lead from the husband. And that's interesting. And I can see that, and I can see why that would work for Christian values, that, this person's making the money, they are in charge of the house. If they're a good leader, then, everything will work out. It kind of takes you back to, biblical days or other tribal days, that there's a unit leader, there's a house leader, a village leader, and they are the ones calling the shot, and everyone else answers to them. And so that carries on to the familial aspect, and it's the same thing. There's the man, he gets the food, he is in charge, he calls a shot for the greater good of the entire group. But you could also flip it. You could flip it and do, so it's more of, why am I tired? Stop it. Stop being tired. I thought I just grew something. Ooh, nighttime. Nighttime. Bed is too far away. Yes, it is. How about now? Is it close enough now? Yes, it is. That it's interesting when it flipped, and like the woman is the head of the household. I mean, that's what a matriarchy is. Matriarchy is, I think archy is rule, but not rex, because rex is king in Latin. Rule, or to educate, right? That's archy. And then a matriarchy is by the woman, right? Matri being the maternal, and then patriarchy is paternal, right? Maternal, paternal is fatherhood. So that's where we get more of those other types of societies where the father is the one, leading the household and making the decisions. Then there's also, it gives, we're going to do etymology of words. There's also a monarchy, which is to say that it's more, what's it called? Monarchy means rule by one, mono meaning one, and a monarchy is there is a king in power, and they are the ones calling the shot, king or queen or whatever else, but there's one ruler, monarch. Oligarchy being a rule of the people, or of more than one person. And I can't remember, there's monarchy, oligarchy, and polygarchy, Olive Garden. Yeah, so that's definitely one of the other, that's where those, that word rule, and then whatever prefix before it, monarchy, what were the other ones I just said? Oligarchy, matriarchy, patriarchy. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I would like to think that there's not a right or wrong answer. Like, I think anyone is possible, and everyone is, it can work for anybody. I think it should be based off of personalities, not necessarily, like, if it works, it works. You don't need to do, like, oh no, that's not right. That's not accurate. Because that doesn't make any sense to me. Why should that matter? I don't know. That's the kind of the, like, regardless of who makes the decisions in a family unit, whether it be the one of the dads, one of the moms, however the family's set up, there typically is a person who kind of calls the shots or decides on, in situations. Oh yeah, I need to tear down my bed. Can't believe I just left it lying there. Just left it lying in the middle of the thing. Yeah, okay. I just might as well pull that up. But because, how do I want to say this? I don't think it matters. I think it just matters that there is one person and that you decide how to resolve. That is really loud. How to resolve different arguments of like, okay, who's gonna make it, and when it comes down to this and we disagree, who's gonna make the eventual decision, and then what's our critical thinking / talking points when we get into a situation, and you have to do this ahead of time. You can't you can't start deciding this in the middle of like a fight or a conversation. You can't be like, we should actually do this. We should do this a different way, Rick. Like that's, you cannot stop a fight in the middle and be like, okay, cool, let's actually talk about how to do these fights. I'm gonna not concede. You're gonna listen to me, and then we're gonna stop fighting. Like, no, that's not how it should work. And I think in terms of like conflict resolution, yes, you should absolutely have a plan coming into it of like, okay, how are we gonna get through this? What are our limits? How long, and I don't think fights happen like that ahead of time. Like, you can't plan a fight. I think it's just important to talk about how you would survive / reason with a fight. That's one of the actual points in the book that I've referenced before. Overcoming defensiveness is to build a plan for when there's conflict, because life is going to be full of conflict. There's going to be tons of moments where you disagree, or there's other things happening, and you're like, I just am not in the place where that can't happen. It's like there are moments where you will have to be prepared, because the more prepared you are, the better your experience can be, and you can actually get through it, as opposed to being a person who is not trying. I need to get some water again. I know, it's just conflict resolution. The conflict resolution needs to happen ahead of time, so that and you can reference it, and you can reference to what you should be doing. Not to bring up, because I think another major problem would be to use that to your advantage, to like, well, we know we said this, because that's not going to help. That's not going to help the argument. We all know that. Bringing up the rule, like, well, we agreed to, like, it's like, nobody wants to do that. Nobody in their right mind at all. Like, okay. So, I don't know. I think a society run by women would be fantastic. And so I really want to see what that's like, and I want to see and compare the differences between that. Like, because we are so opposite that here in the States, that I'm now just genuinely curious about just, what would it look like under a different light? And nobody knows. Well, not nobody knows. That sounded a little former presidency of us. Nobody knows how to do this. We're only I know the best. I am the best version of this. Yeah, everything's good. So, yeah. Sorry, that was a little side conversation about that it's okay for. It gets so. I mean, there's such a problem when there's so much attention given. I don't know. I think ideally. Ooh, and it's not good for my voice. That was painful. I think ideally, the perfect world is where everything is just balanced and equal, and it's not, there's no discrimination or anything else. Like that's I mean, yeah, that'd be amazing. But that's kind of that's the world that I want, is where it doesn't matter who's doing what. It is based off of character, personality, and just everything about who you are and what you're doing, and not about like, oh, well, how hard is it for you? Or, ooh, this must have been very powerful. I am just squeaking on this chair. My other chair broke. It didn't squeak, but it now is broken. And now I'm using it as a stool. Because I don't want to throw it away. But I also don't want to buy a new chair. And this one I found. So, it's going to have to be this one for a little bit. And then we'll switch it up. But that's like I don't want that. I don't want to be in a point of like, oh, this, oh, how is that? That's very clearly different than anything I've seen. So how are you? Are you okay? Da-da-da-da-da. Like, I think I remember someone talking about, I mean, I guess I've had that in previous relationships of like having a moment. Ooh, why is my back sore? I was like, why was I going to bring that up? That we have not talked about that at all. No, because of, I knew this couple that constantly devoted, I think, once a week they had like a dedicated night. And I don't know, I like those types of things. Like, there's a dedicated moment where every single week you're going to be with this other person or calling this other person. Like, I know a friend of mine have that for Saturdays. So every single Saturday we connect, no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening, we at least shoot each other a text or shoot each other a quick phone call. Maybe it is right now while I have time to think about this and everything else, that it can be a lot easier to think, okay, cool, I want to have this plan. But even when other things were going on, we still tried to make contact. Oh, that's what I was saying. Just because it's fresh, because I want to do the same thing here, but I think it's just because it's fresh on my mind of like, oh yeah, I should be doing that, right? As opposed to making it harder. And I think it's harder too when you don't see them. If you're not in the same space with them, I've noticed that sometimes people can forget that they're even there because they didn't know. Well, I mean, not forget that they're even there. They didn't notice them to begin with. So keeping in touch could be hard. What am I saying? I am tired for this. No, what am I saying? Because they're around you and you get to see them, you're constantly reminded by them, so you were more likely to reach out and talk to this person or schedule something with this person than you are when you're away and you're doing something different, So it's more, we'll do 5 more, then we'll sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then put that down and sleep and sleep and sleep. Why can't I sleep? There it is. So yeah, that's an interesting little segment of like, oh, the more time you spend with people live, the more likely they are to be in your head and that you're thinking about them. There it is, and I need to cut this down. There it is. Excellent. And we keep on moving. Yeah, that's life. It's Mother's Day. I shared one memory already for Mother's Day. I really enjoy Mother's Day. It does feel, though, and this could be just me personally, feels that Mother's Day gets more hype and gets more participants in doing something than Father's Day. But I think that's because Father's Day happens in the summer, whereas Mother's Day happens like right at the end of school year, so you can kind of focus on it. And then Father's Day happens in June, and by then people are either in jobs, in college, or like getting ready to go to college, or having their own barbecues. So I think that one kind of gets pushed underneath the rug a little bit, like Father's Day. But I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know the science of why it does and does not work. Yeah, I am getting so sleepy. You can probably see that. This is a terrible episode of Face Reveal because I'm just getting tired. But we will finish this out, and then we might call it early. Little 1 hour live stream. Ideally, it'd be better to do more than 1 hour, but for that, I will want people to talk and to interact. Oh man. Did you know that being sleepy and being drunk operate off the same part of your head? Like the same part of your brain, I mean. It operates from the same part of your head. It's crazy. It all operates from the brain tank. Do you know brain tank? Anyone get that friend? I think that's Igor. Oh man, I am losing it. I'm losing it. Do I have enough for the whole route? I don't think so. So we will see what this can do for us. Come on. Come on. At least one of us. Come on now. There we go. I think the other problem too is that listening to yourself speak, which is hard because I listen to myself speak literally every single day because I speak every single day and I can hear and listen to myself and I can correct and edit. With something more on the lines of this, where you have to not necessarily, yeah, I don't know. I'm losing it, guys. I am losing it. Luckily, there's only 23. Oh man, I wasted one. That's okay. I'll leave it. I shall leave it. I shall leave it, and we will continue to do that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Only 2 more. 1. Sweet. I should get more stuff ready for the next time so that we can do even more next time, or even I can work on it outside of the thing, but we'll make it work. It'll be fantastic. Guys, I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on. My voice is feeling terrible. This is not good, but I appreciate you so much. I'm happy. I'm wishing you a happy Mother's Day. I'm wishing you a congratulations. Go do that. Go enjoy time. Enjoy your summer. Get, do the things. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon, and hopefully maybe on Twitch as well. So you guys are great. You guys are fantastic. Love you with all my heart. Here's the face. We'll keep doing this because this is fun and it gets me focused back on here and here instead of, in lost in this world. So you guys are great. Fantastic. I will see you all next time, and I'll see you when I see you, and I can't even remember my own catchphrase now. I'll catch you on the flip side, and I'll see you when I see you. Adios.